I've had the unique privilege of both being an advocate and an activist, and a progressive left one who comes from an activist family. My mother would have self-described herself as a radical in the 60s with pride, as would my father. And so I come from the sense of disappointment that I understand in what Eddie is referencing, at the same time that I've also run for public office and ran to be mayor of New York City. Our politics can be very disappointing. And there is an opportunity to understand where and how we can advance really big, bold ideas in the political arena. But it is very difficult. And in whatever we're doing, whether we're organizing, whether we're doing public education, like I try to do when I'm on MSNBC or CNN, or running for office, we're always trying to build the tent bigger. Because the way we make change is by the more and more people being able to see themselves in the struggle and the fight, and understand how it's about them as well. And that can be a very difficult thing to do in politics, because in politics you don't get a big opportunity to do that kind of education and organizing, because getting voters is very different from building a field, a field that is going to bear fruit, to demand more, big, bolder, better for more people. And so it can be very frustrating when you're on one side of the fence, which is that field, and trying to sow those seeds, water them, grow them, and have them be about a food basket everyone can eat from, and deal with the original, what Eddie rightly calls the original sin of the country, like racism and slavery and all the things we know that to be. And when you're on the political side, you gotta make very specific choices about how you get votes. So there is a natural tension there. And I think what I would say is you need both of them. You know, Barack Obama himself would say, make me do it. And you know, he would say, you know, changing government is like turning a battleship. You can't do it on a dime, or, you know, it's true. So there's an incrementalism necessary in politics that is very frustrating in activism. And activism's job isn't to be incremental. Activism's job is to try to get us to boldness. But I would say in both instances, what they share is we got to build a tent. We got to make it bigger. It's like if if you come out of a Christian tradition, particularly from the South, you think about the revival tent. You're trying to fill that tent, and you want to be successful and have bigger tents as you go. So I actually see a lot of opportunity for that, even amidst the difficulty. And Eddie, who is someone I adore and revere, and is a writer always worth reading, amazing writer. If you haven't read his James Baldwin book, read that. But I think what the challenge is, we have to have the voices that say the plain things I have heard Eddie say and I have tried to say out loud, which is we can't erase racism, it's here. We have to see it, know it, acknowledge it, or we won't solve our problems. With how does that translate into a politics that need to do something for us across our differences as people who have also some shared challenges. And so I think that's a healthy dialogue. I don't think we're having that dialogue in a particularly healthy way right now, because I think that should be. How does the activism provide more energy and support to bolder politics? And that's the intersection I've always been fortunate to be exposed to through my family, and it's why I can see both sides of it.